Hey everybody, this is Grant Hanson from XP Team USA. I love talking about settings for my Deus. I'm the kind of guy who likes to tinker around and try different things. Today I want to focus on reactivity. Reactivity is basically, in my opinion, the speed at which something's going to try to retrieve a target or not. You can make it very fast or you can make it very slow. And I'm happy to say I've got Gary Blackwell, an expert on the XP Deus, to help me answer some of these questions. So Gary, in your mind, what is your definition of reactivity?
Hi Grant, thanks for joining me. Now, reactivity isn't quite as difficult as people make out. In a nutshell, reactivity is the time the detector takes to recover after seeing a target. So it's the speed, it's the amount of snapshots it does of the ground. Talking about snapshots, let's go back to the camera side of things, where you've got a burst mode. Your camera will take 15 pictures a second, 20 pictures a second, whatever, however you set it. And this is very similar to what we're talking about here with reactivity. A fast reactivity will give more snapshots. A slow reactivity will give less snapshots.
Okay, great. Now that we understand what reactivity is, Gary, I'd like to know what settings you generally run. For me, I'm usually 2.5, or I go up to 3 on a real junky site. So I'd be interested to hear what you use out in England.
Everyone's got their own favourite there when it comes to reactivity settings, but my set it and forget it has got to be reactivity free. I use that most of the time just for general searching, but 2.5 is also a good one, and also you'll see some of my latest custom programs, it uses reactivity 4. Now reactivity 4 is something I've not really delved into in the past, but it's proving quite successful.
So when you're adjusting reactivity, it could affect the way the machine runs. If you're going fast, you're going slow, there are things to keep in mind. So Gary, what are some of the pitfalls in going high or going low, and what often do you have to compromise?
The pitfalls of reactivity. Okay, let's start with a fast reactivity. Now a fast reactivity will see a lot of targets close together, but the pitfall is you may lose just a little bit of depth. And also small targets will become shorter because you're using a faster reactivity, you've got shorter sounding targets. So you need a keen ear if you're using a high reactivity. Now the low reactivity, the pitfall for that is if you lower it, okay, you'll get a little bit more depth and quite possibly the machine's got time to analyze the targets, but it will introduce false signals.
Okay, so when you're on a property and you want to adjust your reactivity either up or down, how does silencer play into that role? Because I know it does affect the tones of the machine when you're running it.
Now you may have noticed on your Deus, let's say we're using Hot Program for example, that uses a reactivity of 3. And your silencer, if you press the expert button, the silencer is -1. If you drop it down to 2.5, also the silencer is -1. Now go below 2.5 to 2 for example, then your silencer will go up to 2. The machine automatically starts to compensate for the false signals. Go down even more, 1 or 0, and you'll see the silencer has now been automatically adjusted to 3. And this is how we compensate for the false signals generated by the lower reactivity.
Okay, we've all been on them. A quiet field. You're swinging and you're not getting many targets. What reactivity setting would you recommend for a very quiet field?
What would I use on a quiet field? Well, I'd probably start off with reactivity 2.5. Now, bearing in mind, is the field quiet because there's not many non-ferrous targets? It could still have a lot of ferrous targets, and this is where you want to be using a faster reactivity. But I think 2.5's a good starting place when it comes to reactivity, and then just go up a notch or down a notch depending. It only takes a minute to adjust, so just get out there and see how your machine works.
And there you have it, a quick little discussion on reactivity. Try it out on different properties. Go fast, go slow, see how your machine responds. Gary, as always, thanks so much for taking the time to help us out today. We'll talk to you soon.
You're more than welcome, my friend, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. If you've got any more questions or any of your viewers want to send any questions in about future videos, please let me know.